guys, it's Sarah, and today I have a review for you on Weave a Murderous Web, and this is written by Rothman Hicks and Ken Hicks. They are a married couple. This book was sent to me through the publicist, and then the authors actually physically sent me the book, so thank you guys for doing that. And this book was published in 2016 by Melange Books. So this book is an adult thriller, and it follows a lawyer who is living in New York City, and she ends up getting involved in a case that is surrounding a lot of turmoil between like child support, divorce, drugs, money, and eventually murder. So our main character is Jane Larson, and she is a lawyer in New York City, and one of the secretaries in her office ends up talking her into taking on a case that has been abandoned by another lawyer, and it involves her best friend and her daughter, and also the divorce that she's going through, and then it's a very, very messy situation. So she asked Jane to take on this case because she knows that she can handle it. So Jane agrees to take on this case, and she really finds herself in the middle of a ton of conspiracies. There is threats on her life, and there are just a lot of things that are popping up that are not quite right, and she's trying to piece it all together and see how they fit. And then the man involved in this case, who is divorcing her client, ends up dead, and so they're trying to figure out why and who and how and all that stuff, and what does it have to do with the case, if anything. And then Jane actually ends up finding her life being threatened, and there's attempts on her life as well. So this book had a lot of potential, and I accepted it because it had really high Goodreads ratings, like 4 and 5 stars mostly. So I was like, oh, maybe this is kind of like a hidden gem type thing. So I accepted it, but I ended up having a lot of problems with this book. I did not like the main character at all. I felt her personality was very inconsistent. She was very sporadic. She had a very bad temper, and she would just completely blow up at people for no reason. She did whatever she wanted, whether it was lawful or not. She would tell someone one thing, and then she would go and do the opposite thing. And it was very dishonest, and I didn't like that. And there wasn't even really good reasons for it. I'm going, why are you doing this? Why are you deliberately putting yourself in danger when you have protection available to you? And then she would go from talking to someone and be screaming and cursing at them and so angry and felt so betrayed, but then literally the next paragraph, she was hugging and consoling and taking care of them. I'm like, no, you were just cursing at them. Why it was like a 180 almost. And yeah, I don't know, it didn't click for me. There was also a scene in here that I literally put the book down and rolled my eyes and said, I cannot do this right now. But she had a situation where she ended up in the hospital, and it was like right after she got out of the hospital, she went to her favorite diner, which she knew the owners and all that, and it was kind of her favorite place to eat. So she goes in there, and it's during like a rush hour, and the place is pretty busy. But she just randomly threw on an apron and started taking orders. You don't work there. Like, what are you doing? And you just got out of the hospital. Like, it just didn't make much sense to me. And the background behind that was that she had always been a waitress, and she'd taken order, like she had done this for a long time to help support herself through her college years. Well, that's fine, but you don't do that anymore. You're a lawyer now, and it's not your place to start serving food at a restaurant where you don't work, and you better know that menu, because people are going to be asking you questions. And it didn't make sense to me. And I just went, what in the world was the point of that? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It really threw me off. And I just kind of went, are you serious? And even though I understood how everything kind of tied together towards the end, but it was still very sporadic, and it was still just like, it tried to take you in certain directions, but it never really got there, and it never really developed anything. So there were just a lot of plot twists that could have been more fleshed out, I think, and would have made more sense to the story. And there are some plot points I didn't think were necessary, and it was just there to try to throw you off, but it really never made any sense. So it didn't really keep me guessing that much. I was able to predict who the killer was by the end of the book. I still think it was the way that it ended was good. I liked the ending of it. And it just, I don't know. It was so strange. It just didn't really, it never came full circle for me personally. There were also a lot of unimportant details that were thrown in here, and it threw me off a little bit too, because I was like, why am I reading about this? This isn't important to the story. I don't know why this is in here, and just didn't make a ton of sense to move the story along. So unfortunately, this wasn't a book that I enjoyed. I ended up giving it 2 stars because I did think that the story had a lot of potential. It just wasn't fleshed out very well, and it just could have been done a lot better. I still really appreciate the fact that the authors were willing to send this my way so that I could read it and review it. And, you know, again, I don't expect to love every single book that I read. Unfortunately, this just wasn't one of them. But, you know, it is what it is. If this sounds like a book that you guys want to give a try, I will leave the Amazon link down below along with the Goodreads page if you guys want to go check that out, because there are some 4- and 5-star reviews. So if you want to read those as well and, you know, kind of get differing opinions, then I highly suggest you do that too. So I will leave all those links down below. Please let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye.